Hello and welcome to Commodity Champions. I'm Anisha Gupta. And the unseasonal rains, hail and windstorms have damaged crop production in India in March. IMD has advised farmers in Jharkhand, Bihar, Andhra Pradesh, Punjab, among other states, to postpone harvesting. Even February was not kind to India's agri-space due to the heat wave. It was the hottest month in 122 years in India. But climate change is not the only factor affecting India's crop production. In a rally in Gujarat, Home Minister Amit Shah said that agriculture is low due to lack of irrigation and also good quality seeds. This is where agri-tech can play a major role. But the key question is whether tech advancements can be cost-effective, mass-produced and sustainable. To answer these questions and more, I am now joined by AgriBazaar's Managing Director and Co-founder Amit Mundawala. Karthik Jayaraman is MD Wakeful Foods, and also with us is co-founder of Unnati, Amit Sinha. Gentlemen, hi, thank you so much. And what difficult time is what we are facing in the Indian agriculture sector right now, with how February panned out and March is no kinder. Amit Mundawala, this question is to you. You know, there are various factors to talk about, but right now, weather really is making headlines, whether it's about the standing crop, the post-harvest, the insurance, the credit finance, almost everything is in limelight right now. How are you looking at the current situation within India, and what do you think agri-tech as a company can work on this?
Certainly, things are not favorable as of now, but I feel that as a country, we are quite prepared about it. Obviously, whether things are uncertain, but with the new technology, agri-tech initiatives, so right now, there is more precise which we can do at FarmGate, where through remote sensing technology, AI, ML. So if we have the correct lat long of the land and then we can gauge it from the satellite, then at least on a fortnightly or weekly basis, you can update on the weather and then you can give the farmer advisory so that they can correct their measures. Any deficiency or any damage which is created due to weather, you can scale it up.
Karthik, this one is to you. And while agri-tech as companies and startups, I mean, we've seen hordes of that come in India in last few years, especially during COVID as well. What is it that agri-techs right now are focusing on in India?
I think, Manisha, a lot of the focus so far has been on relatively mundane actions, such as market linkage improvements and supply of inputs on time and so on. However, we believe that the need is a little more nuanced today. The only thing that's certain today about the climate is uncertainty. And it's time we started preparing for climate adaptation rather than just mitigation. For example, there's a crying need to introduce resilient seeds. We've started work on that. We've introduced seed tubers today that give an 80% yield despite very, very uneven rainfall compared to yields that can drop as high as 20%. So seed technology is necessary, and some of us as agri-tech players have started focus on that, though the gestation periods are long. The second is in improving storage post-harvest. There are technologies that are used all over the world which hitherto have not been employed in India, but now the time has come for us to start absorbing some of these. The third is the usage of predictive AI models to understand what the climatic shifts are going to be in the short term and in the precise area of the plot that the farmer uses, using IoT devices and other sensors, and how to predict the onset of diseases or uncertainties due to the sudden shifts in climate. So we believe these are the areas that will start becoming important going forward. Today, however, the focus has been on relatively mundane activities such as movement of goods, either through market linkage or through inputs.
Karthik, I'm assuming we started doing what needed to be done at that point in time, but weather clearly seems to be becoming a bigger concern right now by the month and by the year, if I may say so. Amit Sinha, how are you looking at weather right now? And as Karthik pointed out, we need to move fast into this because there are just too many things to do at the same time.
Very true, Manisha, and what Karthik said is quite right, and I would take it forward from there. So, agri, especially in India, in the kind of environment that we are in and the smallholder market that India is, it's a multi sort of a dimensional problem. And now we have got the urgency of climate and climate resilience being added on to whatever supply chain issues that our farmers faced, and the fact that farming in India is done in very small parcels of land. And in fact, India traditionally, the Indian agriculture has been very, very starved of digital services because the market is very unique and very different as compared to anywhere else in the world. So I think right now what we are doing and what we are seeing from an agri-tech perspective is to address the needs of huge number of micro markets. So we believe that there are a large number of micro markets in which the country is divided based on the crop and geography combination. And whatever solutions are getting built today address the needs. For example, the stress on wheat in UP, and as you were saying, like there are some states where there is a lot of stress because of rains, and there might be some other states where there is a lot of stress because of a drought kind of a scenario. And this has been happening over the last few years, especially more pronounced. And this is where, people like us who are on the forefront of deploying the digital technologies into agriculture help farmers make their decisions much faster than what would have been traditionally possible. So in a lot of cases, farmers react late because they are very late in actually getting to understand what is the problem in their farm or what they are potentially going to foresee.
Sure.
Which agri-tech companies have been able to solve and are propagating at a much faster rate than what has been traditionally done. So I think there's a lot of impact from a risk management perspective and from the availability of what needs to be done in every micro market across the country. And the next level is about training the farmers better in terms of what they should be doing and whom they should be relying on for taking relevant decisions, which minimizes the impact, whether it is of unseasonal rains, whether it is of climate change, or lack of usage of the right technology in their field. Because one size fits all is not an answer for our country. It's a very micro-focused kind of a solutions that we have to build and keep building on an ongoing basis for various segments of the agri market as such.
Oh, well, absolutely. One size does not fit all. And as you said, there are way too many technologies. What is cost efficient? What is sustainable is yet another question that many of the farmers would be asking. But this is a question I want to ask all of you, because when we talk about agri-technologies, I mean, there's a lot of push from the government as well in various schemes, digitization, drones, fertilization, seeding. There's a lot of technology that seems to be coming in all of these sectors here. Mr. Mundawala, this question is to you. How do you, one, look at the government policies, and two, what is the kind of funding that the agri-tech as companies are looking at right now?
See, Manisha, the biggest challenge with all these agri-tech companies is about the farmer database. And precisely, the digital location, basically, the map which we having, which we can overlay Google, and then we can, through satellites, we can see the land. So that totally depend on the central government, and they have taken a very strong initiative. They're creative. So they are almost ready with the database. Now it's all about how they are going to share the database with the private companies. And so one is the cost-effective solution is that through satellite remote sensing technologies, we can give farmer advisories and then it can be taken. And second way where we use this IoT and maybe drones particularly so that is more accurate, but again, it is slightly costly. So as far as India is concerned, where the land is fragmented as of now, so you can't, be logically asking farmers if they can pay on technology, and that too when it is on testing phase, where the lack of trust, which I can bluntly say, so it will take gradual time. But as of now, to demonstrate farmers, particularly how agri-tech can increase their quality, so that's the only thing where what I believe if we have a correct database, then maybe through farmer advisory, through remote sensing, so we can do that.
Karthik, for the last few years, a lot of thrust has been put on FPOs as well as way to reach farmers. How much has that worked for you?
I think FPOs are really starting to mature now, Manisha. In the early days, obviously, it was a process of discovery and learning. However, today we find that many FPOs are running professionally and are offering a multitude of services, including market linkage, supply of inputs to farmers, collective bargaining for these inputs, service support such as the common drones that can be used by all their farmers and so on. So I think we have now started shifting gears and are going through that inflection in the S-curve where FPOs are starting to mature just like cooperatives were. Our experience has been very positive. We work with a number of them and we find them to be increasingly becoming more and more organized and professional.
Mr. Sinha, this one is to you. When we talk about agriculture, there's always this debate on whether it's about a state, subject or whether it's about the central government subject. With the kind of work that you're doing, who are you dealing with?
We definitely deal with both the central government and state governments, and I would say it's a matter of the farmer at the end of the day. He doesn't bother whether it is a state issue or is it a central government issue. Having said that, in our experience, we have seen that collaborative approach is the best one. So there are pan-India level policies that are being set by the central government, which can act as sort of the guiding principles, while individual nuances which would be best catered by policies that are made at the local level rather than at a pan-India level. So because agri is so localized and being done in such a localized way, there are, as I said, whatever solutions we build. And in that sense, I think a lot of the focus of the central government in the recent budgets and otherwise have been on creating those, underlying infrastructure for the agri in terms of the data infrastructure, in terms of the farmer database and all, which then can be, obviously, the nuanced solutions can be built by various tech players on the infrastructure layer that has been created by the government at a mass scale. So I think that approach that is being taken currently is the best one and would sort of accelerate the pace of innovation and deployment of that innovation across the country at a very fast pace.
All right. So, well, that are the concerns that our experts are telling us within the agri and an agri-tech space, and the need of the hour, of course, which needs to be worked upon. But with that, it's time for a short break. But don't go anywhere. When we return, we'll talk about the global comparisons here and, of course, talk about on what is the top agenda that many of these agri-tech companies has of now.